All right, try to keep up because I'm gonna let you in on some games. So you might think of me as a nobody, but and you're probably right, but at the same time, I got a billionaire mindset. The way I view this online content creator space is a bit different to most of you watching, you know. But few of you will probably understand what I mean, and it's in the sense of um like what most of you think is funny to me is funky. And now, I do enjoy drama. Well, I'm human, you know. I'm not AI. I'm not an MP. You know, I'm not a robot. So it's like, yeah, of course, I like seeing controversy, and it's interesting to see controversy, which is why I like it. But on the other side of controversy, conflict with other content creators, you know, you seeing like two different channels going head to head, which means two different fan bases from each different content creator are going head to head in a collision, trying to see, you know, with like which one could come out on top, you know, who can take whose head in this content creation space, and then one man is left with all the glory, and the other man isn't, right? And he's basically left in with crumbles and with like a shattered reputation, and now he's trying to like do everything he can to build his reputation back up. So I like for me, I don't compete. That's the reason why I don't compete, because I'm not trying to get cancelled. Um, because I'm thinking more long term. I'm thinking like a billion. Do you think like now the billionaires, some billionaires they compete, but like in general, the way billionaires look at things is from like a long term perspective. You know, it takes like I'm sure there's some type of Warren Buffett quote. I don't even if it is Warren Buffett, in fact. So I'm not even gonna, in fact, scratch that. I'm not even gonna mention. I'm not gonna say that this is what Warren Buffett said, because actually it might not be. But you know, as they say, it's like it takes a lifetime to build up your reputation, but it can take like a second for you to lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like just a small slip, um, you know, a little trip, you know, and by the time you've gotten yourself back up to dust yourself off, everyone's already moved on, and people don't care. And it's like I don't get into beef, because beef is kind of like it's there's no longevity in beef. It's all about the short term, who can win the narrative over in the short term, you know. But ironically, long term, depending on who is like the victor in like a short term beef, long term it can lead to like either, you know, if you win the beef, it will lead to like more success. But then all people want to do is see you beef again, because then they're gonna associate with, you know, your content and your channel with, oh well, you had this beef with so and so. It's like what they're doing with Kendrick Lamar. Like for example, if you take the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef that happened over a year ago, you know, I'm from the UK, but I listen to American, you know, rap too. So I was watching that whole beef, and it's like now looking back at it a year later, we can all agree that, you know, Kendrick, I guess, got the best of Drake. He just seemed more like locked in and more focused overall than Drake was. I liked both of the songs from both sides, so I ain't picking sides. I don't have a side. It's just objectively, I'd say Kendrick won the beef because it was more focused. I think it was more potent with the things he was saying as opposed to Drake. Drake was kind of like sending shots at the whole industry to a degree, like all like other artists like The Weeknd, possibly Future, and so on and so forth, Metro Boomin. And that like moment in time, like that battle, it was funny, it was entertaining, like it was, but there was elements of like it was serious too, right? And but for the most part, it's all entertainment. I mean, it does spill over into real life, but it's like I don't really care about Kendrick Lamar or Drake, Aubrey Graham's real lives. Like they are entertainers. I'm not gonna take them for being like, you know, I'm not gonna listen to their music and be like, oh, do I like Drake as a person or Kendrick as a person? I don't give a damn about that. I'm like, can you make a hit? Can you make a hit record that I want to replay, like it's, you know, like it's some I'm not even gonna, yeah, like it's just like it's a drug, right? That's what I want. I want the effect that I like music. Like when I listen to music, it has to have, for me to like music, it has to have the effects on me that like drugs can have. That's the way I look at it, or recreational substances, making me want to replay it over and over. But the point is now, Kendrick has won this battle with Drake. We're a year after the whole beef. Now you see other artists trying to come for Kendrick's position. He's like at the top of the game. He's outselling Drake at the moment. But I mean, Drake is one of the highest selling artists of all time, if not already. And I don't think that's gonna change. I think Drake's music will always outlast Kendrick's music forever and in perpetuity. But that's an opinion, I could be wrong. But I just think that it's done so already, so why wouldn't it continue to happen? That's the way I look at it, like as a stock. I just think people have more of like a higher level of like emotional connection and just like passive listening, like connection with Drake that they don't really have with Kendrick, even me. So, but I think it's like Joey Badass, all these other artists from like the East Coast are now coming out, calling for Kendrick to get back in the ring and put his gloves on because there's another fight that he's got upcoming. And it's like, like Kendrick is looking back at it like, damn, like I'm tired. I've been on tour, like, and these people want to talk about me when I've already moved on and I'm doing my own things and I'm celebrating my wins and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but all these people want is for you to get back into the ring again. If Kendrick doesn't reply to Joey Badass, who can't even sell 100,000 copies first week on an album, he's never came close to doing that. Joey Badass has never, not one moment in his career has he ever been looked at as like a superstar or a potential big three of rap. It was never Joey Badass. But he wants to step his foot in the conversation like, yeah, he's got skill, but like even then, you don't also like, you need the clout you need the you really need the recognition alongside the skill as well. Like it goes hand in hand because there has to be some type of benefit overall to this beef, and it's like, I mean, you could say, oh, what about Drake and Pusha T? Well, that one was a bit more personal, so the context is different. Pusha T knew some insider information about Drake, so I don't really like look at Drake sideways for like responding, even though he's a way smaller artist. It's kind of like, I feel like Drake really shouldn't have responded though, in all seriousness, because it's like you're calling a dude out for quote unquote not being a parent to his kid, but how do you know he's not really being like an upstanding father to his child? Like that's too personal. Like, bro, like if I was Drake, I wouldn't have responded. But, that's why I'm me and Drake is Drake, right? But even so, I mean, Drake is, at this point, it's kind of almost too big to fail. And with Kendrick, to a degree, he is too, He's just been around for as long as Drake has, right? And so that's why they were all in the big three, Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. But it's never been Joey Badass. It's never been him. He's never hit those heights. He just hasn't hit those mainstream levels of visibility. So, okay, he wrote Rockstar for Post Malone and 21 Savage. But people don't really know that though. Like the writers don't get the visibility that the main vocalists, the lead artists get on a song. And people know this. So that's not really any type of claim to like, oh, Joey Badass has had mainstream moments, because that right there is my rebuttal. Like, no, there's not much visibility that you can, there's only so much visibility you can get from being a writer on someone else's hit song, without also having any like background or lead vocals, so, or production credits at that. So yeah, that's kind of like whatever, but competition can ruin you. I feel like the slow and steady pace and just, if I'm going to bring up another YouTuber's name or anybody's name, I'm going to make it positive, and I'm not going to try and go to war with their fan base at the cost of my own.